Hello grade 6, miss you all. Hope you all are doing well. This is Miss Mary. Today we will solve the revision sheet, science revision sheet for the third quarter. In this quarter we have covered Unit 1, Matter, Lesson 1, 2, and 3 in Volume 2. So let's start with the first question, multiple choice. In question 1, a physical property that is a measure of the amount of matter in an object. The amount of matter in an object is called mass. So first question would be letter A. Question 2. The production of heat. When you mix two substances together and they release heat, heat is a form of energy. And as we said before, releasing energy is a sign for chemical change. So we will choose letter B. Next, question 3. An example of a physical change. We want to know which one of these is a physical change. Making metal. And making metal goes through many processes, chemical changes. Vinegar and baking soda, they release carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide is a gas, and this is sign for chemical changes. So vinegar and baking soda is also chemical change. An organism is aging or growing older. As we grow older, we have many chemical changes inside our body. So we will choose letter D. Question 4. An example of a chemical property. We have two chemical properties to describe matter, how matter reacts with other substances. Flammability, one of them. What means flammability? Flammability means easily burn, if this substance easily burn or no. So the answer will be, for this question will be letter C. Question 5. The production of light when two substances are mixed. As we said before, also light is a form of energy. So releasing light also is a chemical change. So we will choose letter C. Question 6. The property that is a measure of the amount of space. Amount of space taken by the object. This is called, do you remember grade 6? Called volume. Yes. So we will choose letter C. Question 7. Matter is anything that has mass and volume, but we don't have here volume. We have the meaning of volume. What means volume? Takes up space. So matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. So we will choose letter D. And this means volume. If you want to write, you can add here equals volume. Question 8. An example of a chemical property. As we said, we have two chemical properties. Flammability, the one that we chose up. Here we will choose density, malleability, easily bend or no, boiling point, or reactivity. The second chemical property is reactivity. It means this substance reacts easily with other substances or no. Some they are very reactive, like sodium, and some they are not reactive, like gold and helium. They don't react easily with other substances. Question 9. What kind of a change can cause heat when we mix two substances? As we said before, heat is a form of energy, so the answer will be chemical change. Releasing energy was the fifth sign for chemical change. Question 10. What is the word for anything that has mass and takes up space? Anything that has mass and take up space, this called matter. So this B can be mass or volume. Anything that has mass and volume is matter. B. Question 11. In any chemical or physical process, mass is neither created or destroyed. So here, this word, instead of energy, it will be mass. Mass is neither created nor destroyed. If you remember, this statement is called, what do you think? The law of conservation of mass. So if we have this word, if we replaced this word with energy, energy also like mass, both of them cannot be destroyed or created. So if this word mass, we will choose the law of conservation of mass. If this word is energy, so we will use law of conservation of energy. Okay, grade 6? So now we will move to next question, question 12. What equation would you use to find the volume of rectangular box? Rectangular box is regular shape. So to measure the volume of something that has regular shape, we use the equation. Which one do you remember? Which one of these? So it will be letter A. Volume equals length, width times height. So we will choose the equation that has multiply here. Okay. So now question 13. Which of the following units would you use to express the volume of a regular solid? The volume of solid, we use which unit to measure the volume of solids, like rocks? We use liters or milliliters or cubic centimeters or Newton. We use liters and milliliters for liquids and newtons for weight, to measure weight, not for a volume. So the answer will be cubic centimeters. So any solid, we measure the volume for any solid by cubic centimeters. Next question 14. Which of the following statements is true about an object's weight but not true about mass? So we need to find out here something which is true about weight but not true about mass. It may vary depending on the object's location, or it's a measure of the amount of matter in the object. The measure of the amount of matter in the object, this is mass. So this is something true about mass, not true about weight. And here we need to find something true about weight. It is measured in kilograms or grams. This also for mass. True about mass, not true about weight. It would be the same on the moon as it's in the earth. The mass also stay the same on the moon and on earth. So the three here, they all are true about mass, not weight. And this question, we need to find out something which is true about weight. So the only true thing about weight is letter A, that it may vary depending on the object's location. The weight, it changes by changing the location. Like when we said before that the weight on the moon is different from the weight of the same person on the earth, because the moon has less gravitational force than earth. So 14, the answer is A. 15. If you poured 3 liquids, you have 3 liquids and you poured them inside a beaker. How could you tell which one is the densest liquid? Means the liquid that has the highest density. As we know that anything that has high density will sink down. So where you will find the densest, like honey or like syrup, the liquid that is floating on the top is the densest. The liquid that settles to the bottom is the densest. The liquid with the deep red color is the densest, or there is no way to tell which liquid is densest from the description. So the answer for this question, that of course the densest liquid you will find it down. So the liquid settles. Settles means goes down to the bottom. So we will choose letter B. So 15 will be B. Next question, next page. So question 16. What happens to a solid object with density that is less than water? If something has low density than water, so this object will sinks about halfway into the water, or the object displaces a quantity of water greater than its volume. Remove water from the container, or the object settles to the bottom, or the object floats on the top. If the object has low density, so this object will float on the top like a piece of wood. It has low density than water, so it floats on the top. Question 17. Which of the following is not an example of a physical change? Something here not true, or not example for physical change. The shaping of a gold bar, when we change the shape of the gold to make ring or something, or the explosion of fireworks, the fireworks that we see in the sky, or the melting of a popsicle, or ice cream, the standing of a piece of wood. So here, sanding of a piece of wood. Sanding of a piece of wood, it means making the wood smoother. So in this question, let's see, shaping of gold bar is a physical change. Melting also is a physical change. Sanding a piece of wood, it means changing the texture of the wood, is also physical change. So the only chemical change here is explosion of fireworks, because this one releases sound, light. They all are signs for chemical change. So the only chemical change here is explosion of fireworks. All of them, they are physical changes. Question 18, what kinds of changes in substances are always physical changes? Always the physical changes here, like changes of state, or changes that result in new substance, or changes that changes the identity of the substance, or changes that changes the density of the substance. The only physical change here is the changing of state, because when we change the state by boiling, melting, freezing, we still have the same matter. So this is the only kind of physical changes here. So letter A. Question 19. Why are chemical properties harder to observe than physical properties? Chemical properties are harder to observe than the physical properties. Flammability or reactivity, they are hard to notice or observe because chemical properties change a substance identity, or chemical properties depend on the size of the sample, or physical properties can be observed and measured, or physical properties change the identity of the substance. As we know that chemical properties like flammability or reactivity, to observe it you have to change the substance. You have to burn it first to check if it's easily burned or no. So when you're doing this, you're changing the substance. So chemical properties change the substance identity. So the answer is letter A. Question 20. Which of the following is not the result of a chemical change? Here, something here is not chemical change. Soured milk, as we said before, is a chemical change because we have different smell or odor, so chemical change. Rusted metal, also the same, change in color, and this is chemical change. Digested food also, when the food is digested, it changes completely. And ground flour, it means the flour when you grind it to smaller pieces. So this ground flour is the only physical change, and all of them, they are chemical. Question 21. Which of the following is a chemical property of matter? This one is repeated. As we said before, it's reactivity, because all of the others are physical properties. Question 22. Which property of matter is a measure of the gravitational force? The amount of gravitational force on the object. Do you remember? This is what this is weight. So letter D. And we know that weight and mass, they are different. 23. In a graduated cylinder containing several liquids, we put many liquids together in a container. The least dense liquid is found, the least dense, like oil, where we will find it floating at the top, or in the middle layer, or in the lightest colored layer, or settled on the bottom. We said anything that has a low density will be floating at the top. So the answer is letter A. Next question. How does a physical change differ from a chemical change? In this question, we need to know the difference between physical change and chemical change. So, letter A, in a physical change, new volumes are created. In a physical change, we have new volume, the volume changed. Or in a physical change, new materials are produced. So in the physical change, we have new material or new substances. C, in a physical change, the composition or what found inside the matter is unchanged. The matter doesn't change. Or in a physical change, the change is reversible. It means it can come back most correct answer here that the physically change, the composition is unchanged. The matter doesn't change into new matter. Okay. 25. Melting crayons is an example of when we melt anything. Melting is a change of state, so it's for sure will be physical change. Question 26. Which of the following units would be best for describing the volume of mercury? Mercury is liquid that we use in thermometers. Any liquid we use what to measure the liquid? We use liters or milliliters, like milk, like oil, like water. They all are measured by liters or milliliters. 27. Which of the following events is not a common sign that a chemical change has taken place? One of them is not a sign for chemical change. Let's see, letter A, change in color or odor. This is a physical sign for chemical change in state, foaming or bubbling or releasing of gas, production of heat or light. So 3 of them, they are signs for chemical change except one. Which one do you think? Of course it will be change in state, because a change in state wasn't sign for a chemical change. Change in state, this physical change. Question 28. What chemical property is responsible for iron rusting? Why the iron rusts? Because flammability, it burns, conductivity, conducting electricity, or non-flammability, it means it will not burn easily, or reactivity with oxygen. So the answer for this question will be, what do you think? Reactivity with oxygen, yes, because when the iron reacts with oxygen, they change into this powder, brown or orange color powder, which is chemical change. So reactivity with oxygen. 29. What unit of density would be appropriate to describe a solid bar of silver? The unit for density, as we know from previous lessons, we measure the density by, what do you think, gram per cubic centimeter. This is the unit to measure solids. So if it's here written solid, so we will choose the one that has cubic centimeters. Okay, because as we know, density is mass over volume. Mass we measure it by gram, volume we measure it for solid by cubic centimeter. But if we change here solid bar to liquid, any liquid like oil, mercury, milk, any of them, water, so we will choose gram per milliliters. Okay, so we have to take care of the question, read the question carefully. If he asks you for solid, so you will choose gram per cubic centimeter. If here replaced by liquid, you will choose gram per milliliters. Okay, grade 6. So let's move to question 30. Which physical property of matter describes the relation between mass and volume? Mass over volume. This relation is called, what do you think? Density, ductility, reactivity, or weight? So the answer for this question, mass over volume, is a measure of density. Question 31, this will be the last question for today. Souring milk is an example of a souring milk releases smell or odor, and the milk changes completely, and the properties of milk change. So this is a sign for chemical change. So souring milk is a chemical change. And this was everything for today. See you soon in another video. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.